When is the thing going to start? Is it started?
Yes, we're live.
Oh, crap.
So here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
What is this? Well, you got a Gene Simmons fetish or something? The whole tongue thing going on?
God, yeah, I've always had a big tongue, and I don't know why. It's just maybe I'm just blessed. I might use it too much. I'll try not to say the F word this time.
No, I just wanted to point out when you say it before me. That's my big thing.
No, you're going to say it just when.
Exactly.
So, all righty then today, good people of 20 books to 50K registered. We're going to talk about marketing today, and we initially only had 30 minutes. Michael has just informed me that I'm using the Kirk commas.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
The
not
Shatner.
Like Oxford comma that the
Shatner
Congress
comma.
Because no,
yeah.
I you're not going to let me talk, are you? You're just not going to let me. So if I could say something funny right now and make you spew coffee, I would. No, so I was working on a video. Oh, there he goes. So I guess I'm going to get to say all sorts of shit. Oh, well, wonderful. So once again, but no, the reason that I can speak 30 minutes more is because I had a video I needed to deliver to Ali for their online conference. And I got that done this morning after much consternation of trying to figure out a video program that would allow me to record from my camera. So I have more time. And yeah, fix your hair, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. But the only other thing I can say is that I am in Texas for family reasons, and you know that because instead of Coke, I will be drinking Big Red, which is delicious. For all of you people who don't believe it, well, you're wrong. It's delicious.
Yeah, try it, and you're wrong until you try it and believe that it's the best.
Oh, yes. Gosh, that's so good.
So it's a little sweet. So one thing we wanted to talk about today was marketing wins. And I think I want to start with some quick back and forth, some one-liners. One of my ideas of a marketing win is you can't sell a book you don't write. As in, it's not written. It's if you.
But what if you acquire the IP?
Well, if you haven't written the book, as in it's not written, you have the ideas. Looking at the 20 books group, I worded that one wrong. So if you don't have a book, you can't sell it. So the first thing and most important thing is write the book.
But what if I want to argue with you on this? Because we're about to do. Okay, so we're allowed to do that. Excellent. So we have a series, Opus X, and we are putting an ungodly amount of money behind creating all the artwork, which has to be done way in advance. So technically, I have the first two covers. In fact, I've got the first one here. I don't know if so I've got covers, and my goal is to be promoting these books, even though I don't have the words inside them all nice and pretty. So does that count as not having the book?
Absolutely. Because looking at 20 books to 50K, probably half the membership has no books or maybe one book.
Okay.
And they're just getting into self-publishing. They're thinking about it, considering it. And it's important. You got to get the words down. I mean, before you can market or sell anything, you've got to have that thing. Whether you acquire it through IP acquisition or you co-author or you write it yourself. And I would always recommend people learn writing themselves first and foremost. If you look, I've published, 12 books in the last 11 weeks, of which I believe only one was one that I wrote completely myself. But I have over 3 million of my words published. So it's important that you understand and know and align with your readership. If you can deliver what the readers want and what the readers like, then it's so much easier to work with somebody else to then deliver to those readers. Because otherwise, you're just an author reading another author's stories, and that's nice, but it's important that you target the readers. The readership determines what actually will sell.
Yeah, so completely agree. So you get me with these things every single time. We're like, we're just going to talk, someone here and talk, and then you go, give me a one-liner. And try to figure out.
I'll give you another one. And Mike Bray actually just shared that on 20 books. Nothing sells the last book like the next book.
Well, so the way that it's normally phrased is nothing sells the first book like the most recent, the latest book, right?
There we go.
And I was looking at it with one of our marketing guys inside LMVPN just last night, two nights ago. And we were looking through the logic to find out why a particular book had been selling well and why it had just dropped off. And in doing so, we're realizing, well, we haven't released anything in 35 days, which is normally a big situation. And because that latest book dropped off, then no one could see the latest book, and the first book dropped off. And if you have 20 books between one and two, first and the last, you will see every single book thereafter dropping down because of it. And so, a lot of times people think about it as, nothing sells the first book like the latest book, except, you got 6 or 8. It's a lot of money that all of a sudden you're out. So yes, from a marketing perspective, that one works really well as well. I think that personally, going back specifically to the ads situation, it changes all of the time. Facebook was the rage, and then we also have BookBub. Well, BookBub was the first rage. And then now I think the foundation of saying you should always have an AMS ad, even if it's just a small amount, going on all of your first and series.
I think that's a great tip. Is always throw Amazon advertising on the first of each series, and I'm not talking lock screen ads. I'm not sure anybody has figured those out yet to the degree where you can hedge your bet and actually know that you have a chance of making more than you're spending. Whereas with Amazon advertising, we do know ways. There are different methodologies that you've seen throughout 20 Books to 50K, as well as in Brian Meek's book, which he is going to update for the new Amazon advertising model. But there are ways to hedge that, and you got to have at least one. On all of my books, as soon as I publish them, probably the same day, as soon as I have the ASIN or it shows as live, I'll throw an Amazon auto-targeted ad with my best one-liner for that book, and just turn it loose, and whatever they recommend for the bids. I think it's 75 cents nowadays, so I jack it down to like 47 cents or something, and put a limit of like $30 or $40 a day, which they never spend. But just in case they did, I'm not going to get murdered like somebody who might, it's this way, who might have put like $1,500 on a limit, and they spent that.
Yeah, I did that. That would be me. It's like you keep pointing your head to the left and to the right. Oh, you mean down here? Okay, so I'm because you're like the master, I guess, for this situation. I'm like this little bitty thing way in the corner down here. So for me, you should be looking like down this way or something. Oh, there, that was it. There, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. No, well, not quite there. To your left a little bit, I think. Go. Yes, right there. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone else is. That's where I'm at, but for me,
mine are side by side. That's the only way I see it. So.
Oh, well, shit. I have no idea how to do that. Ooh, I almost said the F word. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out who does that one. Something else that's going on. Mark Dawson is the one who should get credit for this, and he said it in the London 20 books. Do you remember what I'm about to say whatsoever? Craig?
I do not.
Okay. Prestozon, Prestozon, Prestozon.com. They are actually a company that is focused on trying to help manage your AMS ads and give you some ability to just say, hey, keep my ACOS between X and Y, and then deal with it. And so for those of you who are struggling with trying to do ads and writing and copy and blurbs and covers and more writing, and you just can't seem to get to it, consider looking at Prestozon and see if there's a way that can help you. And certainly from some of the charts, it's pretty powerful. So there is another option for you. So I went on that one.
What is the cost of Prestozon?
Shit.
Is it like an annual of a couple $100 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I'll look at it real quick while you keep going.
Is there a free option just for our good folks?
I doubt it. Let's see, pricing. There was pricing, blah, 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 blah. You should be saying something here. I mean, come on. Monthly spend, whoa, wow, they've really gone up.
Is that right, Michael? Can you see it on the screen?
Wait, can I see what on the screen? I don't know where you're at. I've lost you.
I'm probably on Facebook, and you don't have Facebook up because then you get to hear yourself twice.
No, I'm not on there. And they
precedence.
build annually, monthly spend up to $5,000, build annually, monthly fee is $72. Might be a bit much. Yeah, it's quite a bit. So I had no idea this was.
But that's how it is. Now, advertising your books, the majority of your spend is on your first book in a series.
Is there a reason to do it on anything besides your first? What's your opinion?
Visibility of the series as a whole. They may see that first book, but then because we target mainly whale readers, those people who read more than a book a week. Actually, we want people who read a book a day because of the volume and our backlists. But if somebody sees book 7, books 8, book 11 in a series, they see ads for it, they may go back to that first book, especially if they've seen ads for it too. Because sometimes I don't know about you, I do know about you. You use your own name. I use Craig Martelle, and then as well as the pen name C.H. Gideon, which isn't as popular as Craig Martelle. Hey, how about that? Huh? But that pen, so I can get it cheaper. I think last check I was 53 cents for somebody to target me, and C.H. Gideon is actually cheaper. But unfortunately, you always have to target yourself with your ads. Otherwise, somebody else will. And on the sponsored ads, if somebody searches your name, they're going to find somebody else's stuff. I almost said the other word. Somebody else's stuff. And you want them to find your stuff. So now I've bid the right amount. Because if it's 53 for me, I'm going to bid 53. I'm not going to try to underbid it. And then if somebody actually types my name, it is worth 53 cents for them to find me. So C.H. Gideon, okay, now that is a pen name, and it's cheaper. I think that's like 37 cents. So I target that, and if it goes up, then I'll bump it as well. But I do all of the books with automatic ads. Some of them I'll do manual targeting, but I go to the extreme with the manual targeting because targeting is your key to success no matter which platform you use, whether it's BookBub ads and ads, BookBub ads, Facebook ads, or Amazon advertising. You have to have the right targeting. BookBub will spend all of your money, all of your heirs' money, and all of their heirs' money.
Are you saying Facebook or do you say BookBub?
That's BookBub. And you will have a 0.0001 because they're showing it to everybody. So that you just have to be careful. And if you target the right, you'll get your money back. You'll be fine. But targeting takes some practice. And I know David Gaughran just published the only book that's out there on BookBub ads. Okay.
Yeah, we've had limited success that we could quantify with BookBub. That's one of the reasons that we're taking our spend out of BookBub as of February 28th. We're shutting our BookBub stuff. And this is, by the way, these are the cost per click ads, not the email ads, just to clarify.
Not the featured deals. That's something completely different.
Yeah, that's completely different. And so I did not know that David had this book on BookBub, so it would be probably book on book. It's kind of redundant to do this. Now, saying about targeting your name, I can relate a small story last year where I was getting really annoyed that certain individuals were targeting my name. And I realized that as I'm spending enough money to block everybody from targeting my name, it was my fans clicking on it anyway. So what was the point? I was just giving my fans another place to click on my ads. And so it was like, okay, I'm not sure this is actually beneficial. So I'm like, I'm getting tired of spending $1.25 on click for Michael Anderle.
Yeah.
And it's gone down since then as well. So it does fluctuate on what's going on. So as you become more successful, as you have more pen names, you're spreading out the ability for people to focus on who you are. I have a pen name no one knows about. Hell, I don't think
not even me.
Yeah,
I don't know about that one.
Yeah. So there's no way for people to purposely go over there and target it, nor would you maybe want to.
I know I wouldn't.
Yeah, probably so. It's too much for your tingle. You're just wondering when I was going to slide that joke.
There's a vortex in my butt, and it's beautiful.
Oh, God. No, we should come up to an agreement. No more Chuck Tingle jokes.
No. Yeah, absolutely. No more Chuck Tingle quips.
Quips. So related to the AMS, we had Prestige on, but if you want to know more, and there's Advantage ads, 20 books to 50K Vegas 2018, MD Cooper, the Mr. Cooper, had something that you can go view. And can people see it, Craig?
Yes, you can see it in the 20 books to 50K Vegas video section, or it will also be on you do a search on 20 books Vegas on YouTube, and you'll find it there as well.
Okay, so that was one of the things I wanted to make sure people realized. While Craig and I might just be bantering back and forth, we will try to throw these nuggets for those of you that aren't aware of the huge amount of content that is already out there. Michael has been nice enough to come to 20 Books London and speak, 20 Books Vegas and speak. He probably was one at the first one as well and spoke. Mm-hmm. Goodness knows. Yep. And so we have at least 2 of his videos, if not more, out there already. And then Brian Meeks has spoken, and we can kind of go through it all. But yeah, there's so much video out there for you to really get in depth if that's what you would like to do.
And Michael Cooper, in that speech, he also talked about how he uses Instagram to build a target audience that he then fleets over to BookBub to target specifically. And it works. It works well. You can see how he breaks that down and finds the readers, not trying to sell them anything on Instagram, but trying to use them to create a target audience. And that is a brilliant use of the platform.
I can't even fathom trying to keep up with some of his stuff.
No, I don't have an Instagram account. I haven't checked my Twitter account in 2.5 years. So I think I'm better for that, for my sanity, if nothing else. But Facebook ads, going to the nuts and bolts of a Facebook ad. One of my very best ones was from a 1-star review that I had gotten that started off, "No, too much swearing." And then I just copied that review and put it in an ad and said, "I apologize. There may be some swearing in this book. Too much swearing." I had that as a clip, and it worked out. And I had a lot of comments. I mean, a lot of comments and a lot of shares, and it worked well.
We have one of the things that I like to do from time to time is play with Photoshop, and there's a lot of Photoshop tweaks or little actions, they call them, and some of them are really compelling, where you can take an image and it'll look like dust is being blown off of them or something, or just these flames are all around. And since I really can't do art for my covers, I mean, I'd like to, I should not even get anywhere near them. So I was able to play with them and create compelling covers, because one of the things that is often said is on Facebook, you need to have an image with no text. That is, seems to be the general consensus of everyone with Facebook ads. And yet I don't like, so I like some going to the photo gallery websites that allow me to just choose amongst a bunch of them. But I like to just kind of create stuff. So it allows me to play in Photoshop when I get that time and use these actions. And you can find a lot of these actions. I got them off of Envato, I believe, where you're just, it does just cool shit. And so lately, about a month ago, month and a half, I think, I was able to clip out the cover person that was, the model that was on the cover of our books, is some urban fantasy books, and then add these actions and create something totally unique that still fit the book, but wasn't exactly the book once they clicked on it and went over to Amazon. Photoshop actions.
That works quite well. That various artwork. My current Facebook ad that's still doing well after about a month running, and nothing changed over that month. It has a one-liner on top, a man with a vision of a world free from war. It has my book cover for number 2, which is a complete wrap cover with no text on it. And then the text below that, the clickable text, says "a cat and his human minions." So it very simple. It's like, okay, we've got a vision of a world free from war and a cat and his human minions, which that if targeting readership, getting cat lovers into a book about cats is probably the way you want to go. And so I finally dialed that in, thanks to James Baldwin hooking me up and working at one. And that ad is working great. We were running it at 99 cents. And I just changed it down. I'm like, I want to get people in the series. I'm willing to spend what I need to spend. I know it's going to be a negative ROI. And
for the first book.
and it was okay. Well, I upped the price to $2.99, which means I need to sell 1/6 as many to make the same amount of money, and sales didn't change at all. I've changed the price up to $4.99 because I've taken the first 3 in that 9-book series wide, and once again, because the ad is so effective, it hasn't changed the sales. So the sales numbers, so my profitability has gone up, which means the ROI is now evening out just on that first book, which is worth getting them into because it's a 9-book series. So you can play with prices as well as your blurb and your cover. The cover hasn't changed since I launched the book. Well, since I redid the cover of the launched book, thanks to Michael, 3 years ago.
One sucked.
It was horrible. It was horrendous. I think horrendously horrible. But then we got Tom Edwards covers, and we've used that same artwork ever since. And so 3 years.
But just to clarify that.
Well, we have some Tom Edwards covers as well because it's just good stuff, and it's easily recognizable within the genre. So you want to be good in a genre, you got to be exactly the same but completely different. So it's
different. Slightly different. I'm just going to argue I'm just going to say it's completely the same but slightly different type of thing.
It's different. It's a new way to tell the story. It's a different a take on the characters. It's a different message and a different writing style. But it's still, somebody has to be comfortable and not think a cover that's just all pink with text, and you're trying to get into military sci-fi. Okay.
We should absolutely try that just as a lark.
And, dig into my old covers. I bet I have one. Mill sci-fi. It's all pink with flowery lettering.
Recently on Facebook, I've been kind of screwed on my first book in Cthulhu Gambit, and only kind of paid attention to this recently, where it was like, what happened? And trying to go back and look at it, one of the things that happened is I had an ad that had been out for a year, been running. And then I had 6 or 7 images on it. And I don't know, 9 months ago, Facebook came through and they dropped 2 of them. You can't use these 2. I'm like, I've got 6 more. 6 months later, you can't use these 2. I've got 4 more. Well, about a month ago, they came through and they shut them all down. And I wasn't paying attention. And I only recently realized, holy crap, they took down every ad inside the ad set. Even though the ad set is turned on, I'm not showing anything. And there went, what was going on. So paying attention to your Facebook ads might be beneficial.
It's important. I went through and I found a bunch of that too. I'm like, oh, this isn't turned on. Let me try to activate it or do some stuff. But the ads, that ad text, I've played with that, and I think that has I'm talking Amazon advertising now. That ad text, because you can do it, you can add manual text, and I think you want to do that. I don't think you want to let Amazon control everything, just a book cover and here's a price. That's your chance to write your hook, and you can rewrite it as often as you want. That's okay, but you've got to get that right. Can you rewrite it? I'm talking out my ass here. Is it because Facebook?
Well, you're always doing that. I mean,
that's no surprise there.
No, I don't think you can.
That's
right. Copy it. You can copy it so easy and just make a new one. That's not a problem.
And then write the new text. So have that and have an idea that those one-liner hooks on 20 books to 50K. When I say, hey, pimp your ride, show your things, put your best one-liner. The best thing to do is you're using that as practice for your Amazon advertising. You're seeing how it resonates, seeing how it looks compared to other people's one-liners, and it's practice. I mean, we don't do blurb reviews just because 28,000 people, we would get completely inundated and it would become a useless site. But when we do the posts, you can do that and practice with your one-liner, see how it measures up, and then change it and see how that works. And it's going to be passive. You're just going to watch. Maybe some people will like it. Some maybe they won't. But look and compare, because that one-liner is going to be what people see. They see your cover, and if you're like a cat and his human minions, think about a world free from war. Hey, look at that. Okay, so there's different demographics you can see there that it might appeal to or whatever.
So we have also on Amazon, we had gone and was that last year or 2 years ago that we visited Amazon? Do you remember?
I think it was last year. I think it was 2018, like February or March.
Okay. So one of the things that we had talked to them about was the fact that it's really difficult to first get ads on Amazon, which actually spend money. And in doing so, some of us had been following the advice to put the daily spend at a ludicrous amount of money and maybe cause it to actually get some money spent. And they were certainly telling us that's not necessary, that's not necessary. And then I think I talked to them about the fact it's like, it would be great, but we need something where you notify us, and whether or not our conversation had anything to do with it. But right now, if you do an ad on Amazon and you say $4 a day and it's going to spend over, they will notify you an email. And so I found that really compelling, to where I went back to a lot of my ads and I dropped them from $500 a day or some BS noise down to like $4, and then let to find out which one of those were actually showing, and then saying, okay, $4 to $6. I had one example happen last year in November timeframe where that was going on, and what happened, or what I did, was it went from like 4 to 7 to 12 to 19 to 26, and Amazon's going, let's do $53 a day. I'm like, you're right, let's do $65 a day. This is fantastic. And then it died. And I mean, it's like, I don't know whether or not it died because I jumped it to 63, and all of a sudden they had no people left. A situation where it's like, well, yeah, you spent those people out in just a matter of 2 days. Wasn't that great? Or what happened? But now I'm really sensitive when they say that, you need to go from $15 to $26. I'm like, I think I'll do $16. I'll try 17.
Yeah.
I hesitate to encourage Amazon to stop showing my ad.
Yeah. Give them just enough that they'll keep showing it and stay interested, as opposed to just spending. Here, we showed it to everybody who matters, and now there's nobody left. Yeah. I'm seeing a comment roll through. Somebody said A/B split test. Yeah, on Facebook you can A/B split test. I believe Amazon you can do that now as well. So if you have multiple one-liners, you can try different ones with the same marketing, with the same targeting, and see which one's resonating better. And then just the thing about Amazon advertising, you can leave them all running. So just in case one goes, but you got to monitor that and make sure that one isn't just spending for no reason. The ACoS, as Brian Meeks would counsel, is a relative calculation, because it's against the
actual book purchases,
the retail cost. It doesn't include your KU. So if you spend $4.99 and they say your ACoS is 100%, you spent $4.99, you made $4.99. Well, you didn't make $4.99 on a $4.99 book. So that's a minor fallacy in that calculation.
Yeah, you made closer to $3.50, but it's not taking to the fact that, like, most people are either 50-50 KU, or ourselves, we're like 2/3 KU.
Yeah. So 2 to 1. So if I sell one book, I'm counting 3 books are out there.
Yeah.
And now we earn less revenue on the other 2 books for the shorter books. For some of the longer books, no problem at all. Like Nomad's Force, 117,000 words. Yeah, that's make good money on that if they read the whole thing. That's comparable to the retail. And
it's actually a little
royalty.
Better.
Is it?
But anyway, yeah, it's a little bit better. Well, we've increased the prices, so I'd have to go back and look. But yeah.
Yeah, and at 0.44, whatever it is, hopefully it'll go up from February and start its incremental climb through the year.
That would be nice.
But so the one line, I think the one-liners are so important, and that's why I always harp on them. Give me your best one-liner, because that elevator speech, you never know. You never know if you're somewhere out in public and somebody asks you what you do. I write books. Oh, really? What about? Oh, hey, think about a cat and his human minions, and just leave it at that. Do you have that hook that people? It depends who you're talking to. I mean, if somebody has cat hair on their coat, absolutely, I'm going to use the cat and human minions hook on them. I'm a dog person. Oh, hey, I got dogs too. So,
I killed a dog. Does that work? That probably doesn't work.
That's that's not going to be a good sales point for you.
Oh,
I killed my main character. That's what you should start with.
Yeah, don't do that. That wouldn't really be.
In book 9 of a 21 book series. So yeah, come on board.
I didn't think of him as a main character.
That'll learn you. Neither did I on mine. But when he died, everybody was pissed.
Well, in that particular case, was it Amy that reminded us, or who was it that reminded us, who said you'd left them out of a whole book? Maybe it was you who said it.
Yeah. I left them out of a whole book and no one noticed. So I kill them in the next book, and then everybody's pissed. Yeah. Don't be like me. But then, and as a matter of fact, talking about books and reader expectations, that book, because book 3, I did kill off that character, and it wasn't him; it was his wife, who was a favorite, and she was distraught. So book 4 comes out, and book 4 sales weren't as good as we hoped, shall we say? And so that was a year ago, April of 2018. I put out book 4, and then I moved to some other books to try to build back interest and keep the books flowing rather than continue the series, which that was arguably the 16th book in that series with those same characters. Well, I announced that, hey, I'm doing book 5 finally, and people were like, it's about damn time, and it's such a huge swelling of response based on, hey, they like these characters, want to get back into them. And over time, book 4 didn't sell well, but over time it did. It sold enough that it was okay. We released Super Dreadnought series. 1 sold ridiculously well, and despite our best efforts to stymie it and that's one I don't know what we did differently, but it sold really, really well. It kept top 1,000 ranking for a whole month. It was insane how well it did. Well, I follow myself on Amazon, and I have worked very, very hard to build up my Amazon followers, done a lot of giveaways. And I saw Super Dreadnought 4 pop up yesterday or the day before. It's been out for 6 weeks, almost 2 months. And I saw it pop up and say, hey, Amazon release from Craig Martelle, Michael Anderle. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I go and check the numbers, and all of Super Dreadnought 1 through 4 are all cranking again, all picking up, and sales are good. I'm like, holy cow. So of course, I jumped on that, made a Facebook ad saying, hey, oh, by the way, Super Dreadnought 5 is coming out March 18th. Because I got it. We turned it over to the editor. It's looking good. And keeping that interest and keeping the fans on board and keeping the fans a place to see things, and that seeing things is your ad. So getting the Amazon followers. If you publish on Amazon, you want people to follow you on Amazon because it costs you nothing. Now, the drawback is you have no idea how many people or who is following you on Amazon.
Or when Amazon's going to email for you.
Or when Amazon's going to send that damn email, which we constantly address with them. Because that is so, if they're going to do it, please, can we have some input? You don't have to tell me who or how many are following me, but if you could send it 10 days after I publish the book, I would be grateful. I will send you Seattle chocolates.
Yeah, for instance, I get 2 yesterday. One's from you, one's from L.E. Clark. The email's from Amazon, I should say. And one is for a book that you released back at, January, whatever. And the other one from L came out 2 weeks ago. Same day, no understanding why they chose such a disparate amount of space, because we've had emails from Amazon a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Why didn't they pick up your book at that time? It doesn't make any sense what they're doing. None at all.
And one of the things I've done is I used to, whenever I got a notice on one of Michael's books, on one of those series, like Ellie's series, I would click on it when I got the notice, so Amazon would get that feedback, and I would borrow it in Kindle Unlimited because I have a subscription. And so I would fiddle around with it, go check things out, look at chapter headings, do whatever. It's just to show Amazon, hey, I borrowed this and I'm active with it, and see if that influenced the sequence of getting those emails.
And what'd you learn?
No, it didn't. So if they're not collecting that data, then what the hell are they doing? Can't we just send, hey, 10 days? I've done my best to funnel a lot of people to Amazon to give away Kindle Oasis and a lot of stuff. Follow me on Amazon. And there's still no rhyme or reason in my mind to when I get these emails. Because if I'm always clicking when I get an email, you'd think they'd send me that stuff 1 or 2 days after they publish a book. Hey, here, buy a book because you're a buyer. Yeah. And it didn't change that behavior at all from them. So I'm not sure the infamous algorithm, of which there's probably thousands that are running in various subroutines. But so that was the only thing I could think of is always click on. If you never click on them, well, you don't get them in 5 days if you never click on them. So I was trying to figure out, is there some kind of something in the background that says that? And I don't know. I will still try to get Amazon followers because they maintain that. They do send an email, and I do get a really nice bump when they finally, Amazon, if you're listening, how about 10 days? 10 days. That's good. Just set it. Automatic. Don't care about the, remove all those algorithms, 10 days, and have a nice day. I get a nice bump, and I can see when they send out the email, and it's a nice.
Are you done?
10
rant.
10 days. Yeah.
Okay, so some of the things that I've seen in Amazon for us is that it affects the Kindle Unlimited a lot more than it necessarily affects purchases. And if you're wide, then the Amazon ads might not be doing nearly as well for you as it does for others. The Facebook ads, on the other hand, seem to affect the purchases more than it affects the Kindle Unlimited, even though we try to constrain our ads by people who like Kindle, people who are in Amazon readers and everything else. So we have some situations where we're trying to constrain it for that, but they do seem to be purchasing. They will purchase the 99-cent more. You will certainly get people to activate it. And then your review and your buy through to the next book, usually your reviews suck more and your buy through drops. So it is a situation that goes back to just typical sales 101, which is people have to have skin in the game. And once you cause them to have a higher price point, you're going to drop people who are just looky-loos, which means those that, they like paranormal or they like military sci-fi romance, and they bought something with a big ass ship, assuming there's a romance, they're unhappy. But someone who's spending $2.99, $3.99, $4.99, so whatever, they're going to pay more attention to your blurb, and so they're going to be more involved in doing it. And typical sales says once they've done that, they've actually convinced themselves. They don't want to say, I did it, I had a bad choice.
And I saw a question pop up. How do you target whale readers? On Facebook, you just select people with Kindle Unlimited memberships, because anybody paying $10 a month are going to try to read those 3 books at least, try to get more than their money's worth out of that. So 4, 6, 8. So that is the easiest methodology I know of to target whale readers. And also the ad, when you say a 21 book series, a 10 book series, a 9 book series, then you're going to naturally gravitate to people willing to read 9 books worth of stuff.
I don't know that I've ever been able to find a Kindle Unlimited setting. I can do Kindles. They like Kindles or Kindle Fire, but not Kindle Unlimited. I don't know that I've found that. Just FYI. So it might be there. I could just be ignorant of it. So I just want to clarify.
KDP Select, there's certain things I have found it. And my Free Trader 1 ads that are working so well on sales are on Facebook. That's not, I didn't change anything on Amazon advertising for them. So Facebook, it's still resonating quite well, even though they have shifted over to wide. I haven't changed any of the wording, but I did put in FT1 for my latest, to get my latest rejection, which I haven't gotten yet, but I'm waiting for it.
Okay. So spend, percentage of spend. When I strictly had the Criterion Gambit universe, and I was quote unquote rapidly releasing those, so I had 8 books. Every 4 to 6 weeks, I'm releasing the next one. My spend per month was relatively low. I mean, we're talking 2 to 3% of income. Now that I'm not doing that, and I don't have necessarily a series that I can personally say, okay, I'm putting this out religiously, and it's making it happen. I'm having to spend more in the 8 to 12% per month to keep the income going. So just recognize that spend is consideration based on speed of deployment, because that next book, what we started with, that next book is selling this first book.
That's a very important point. And I posted this morning on that, showing my February overall revenue per day, which is pretty static the whole month because of consistent releases. I release on Mondays. I've had a new book published on Monday every Monday since December 11th, and actually had an anthology published 2 days ago on Friday that I was in as well. So with the consistency of release, I've let my ad spend taper off. It has fallen fairly significantly, but I'm maintaining an exact same level of revenue. But that's the release. If you rapid release, if you're releasing, I think once a month is probably all you need. I know that's a lot for some people, and that's okay. It's once a month. You can avoid the ad spend. Instead of spending your time on ads, you're spending your time writing the books. If you're releasing less than that, then you need to spend more time on ads and more time and more money. And I think a 10% spend is probably reasonable.
True. I would say that there's another way to accomplish it when you're like, let's say 6 weeks. If you train your readers to know that you will have a book out every 6 weeks, get on Facebook, create a Facebook group, be in that Facebook group at least daily, so that people are out there, they're engaging with you, and on your behalf, they will engage with their fans and friends and family and people they meet in grocery stores and everything else. I've seen a massive drop in word of mouth advertising for my books as I have stepped back from engaging with my fans in order to run the business. So it's one of those situations where I can see that it's a completely viable option for one person with Facebook to keep a methodology going to sell your books that doesn't require once every 28 days.
There's the balance. It's the balance. And the most important thing you can do is manage your reader expectations, especially as you build a fan base. You want all of them to be ready for your next book, whether it's 6 weeks or a year down the road. You want all of them to be on board, waiting and ready. You want to hit that date. If you tell them it's a year from now, you want to hit that. And then you want to generate that enthusiasm within your readership, whether it's through a reader group, whether it's through your blog, whether it's through your newsletter. However you contact and engage with your readership is going to pay dividends, because those are the people who will buy your book. And those are the people who will give you the quotes that you can use for the next book. Yeah. A Cat and His Human Minions, that came from a reader and a fellow author. I mean, that was something that I've harped on ever since, because it resonates.
I'm not sure what to do. You remember the quote that said, like any type of awareness is good awareness. What is the quote? Any type of what is it?
All publicity is good.
Yes.
Publicity.
Yes, all publicity. Yeah. So meaning even negative publicity is good publicity. So I had taken a quote out for one of the series that we have, and I think it's Birth of, I don't know, remember which book it is. Regardless, what they said is like, their quote was, I've been reading for 50 or 60 years. This is the freshest type of new sci-fi. I love it so much. Blah, 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 blah. So I thought, hey, this is a really great quote. Now, I didn't say it, but I'm like, hey, I'm going to market it because of what they said. So I pasted it into Facebook and I did it. And it didn't take too long before you start getting other people who are like, this isn't better than Heinlein. This isn't better than Asimov. And then, hey, yes, it is. Shut up, you. But no, really though. So I paused it, right? I'm like, I don't need to deal with this stuff. It's like, it wasn't even me saying it, right? I was just quoting somebody else. And then I let it go. And then I kind of forget about it. And I'm going through my advertising like 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, what the heck? We have this ad here. Let me just turn this ad back on, not realizing what that ad was.
It was that ad.
It was that ad. And then we have the situation, the family situation that brings me to Texas. And then I start getting these messages from Facebook going, this stuff isn't as good as Heinlein. What do you do? It's like, all these people, I'm like, oh, Lord, it was that ad. And I'm sitting here and I'm trying to go, should I turn it off? Because I usually see these things and I'm not at my laptop. And so it's like, man, am I going to need to go get this? And I'm like, but it doesn't matter. It's like, well, bad, good, whatever. It's all good, right? And so I'm still hesitant to turn it off because these people are arguing. And I'm like, but I don't like the emails. And I finally think I've decided, it's like, when I remember, I'll just turn it off because I don't need it in my life, even though it's probably useful.
Turn off notifications. But but that's also a pitfall that some people fall into, because, hey, if you like this author, you should like my books, or you might like my books, but you don't want to waffle, because this is like writing your own fitness report in the Marine Corps, something that was the bane of our existence. So yeah, if you like J.K. Rowling, you're going to love Michael Anderle. Don't do that, because anybody who has rabid fans, if you like this, you may like this. Okay. I mean, it may seem waffly, but at least you're going to get some name recognition out there. and they can relate it if that's what you're going for. But be careful with that, because if they like their favorite author, they'll love you. They're not going to love you, and they'll be vocal about it. I tried the Heinlein thing too, and I don't do that.
I did. Well, I didn't try it. I just thought, what a great thing. This guy said this was not really the wisest thing in the world.
So right, good to go. Good to go. Any other? We'll wrap it up here. Any other ads that did spectacularly well for you?
We are testing some things where we do email ads, where we go out and we order for newsletters. Generally speaking, it seems like if we do these things within a few days of release, not on day of release, we changed some things here in LMVPN, which Craig knows, where we used to do a 99-cent day one, and it was called fan pricing. And the reason is because the fans were staying with us, and with as many books as we put out each month, they can't all afford these books at $4.99. So we do a day of fan pricing, 99 cents. They would get it. They would keep following us. And then, of course, we would see a jump because that one day, you're selling 500, 800 books or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And then we decided, based on things that we had seen before, that maybe that wasn't the best choice in the world to do it day of. And it was just becoming too much. The quantity of newsletters that we were putting out, because of the quantity of books that we had to congregate it down to one day. And so we built some rules around that. And, we've seen some success with it. And we just recognize that, when you release, there is a best day or a ramp that we should be trying to accomplish. And while I can't even express what it is because we don't know, it seems to be that you release and then you want to grow over the next week or two to, some pinnacle of success with your marketing efforts.
I have a series that I released about 5 weeks ago, the first in the series, and have since released the second book, and the third book is on track for 4 weeks after the second book. And that book, that ramp up is spectacular because it came out of the gate. We priced it at $3.99 for the first week, and then published on Monday. Saturday, we priced it down to 99 cents because of the loyal fans who are following it so strictly. They want this, and a lot of them will put it in KU and read it first, and if they like it, they'll buy it. So we get the fans who are willing to pay full price and want it now, but aren't getting Kindle Unlimited. Then we get the fans who are Kindle Unlimited who may buy it on Saturday. So it's a slow burn. We get that nice bump, and then there's more burn. And this one has continually been a ramp up. We were 28 days between the first book and second book, so we never saw a drop off. It was ramping up. It was kind of evening out, and the second book came up and it raised the plateau, and that dropped a little bit, but the $3.99, and it continues. And now news of, hey, here's the cover on book 3 coming out on this date. It's rising again. So it's a continual ramp up over the last now 4 days. So that series, I'm extremely pleased with that one. Dragons in Space, not so much. That one came up and dropped off very quickly, and trying to find the right market, the targeting the ads in the right way is the challenge, because we're playing with some things, but nothing seems to resonate. Whereas the post-apocalyptic title is doing spectacularly. The characters people are more engaged with the characters and loving the characters and wanting to see it. And that was written very, very specifically with open loops. We're not going to call them cliffhangers, but every scene change ends with an open loop, and it's really, really well done. Kudos to E.E. Isherwood for doing such a great job getting that all aligned and meshed, and with about 4 threads. And so you pick it up, you've got to read it all the way through. It really is a nice piece of work, and the books, and they keep going. But the ramp up, so that tells me we're getting some word of mouth. We're getting the ads are resonating, the one-liners are hitting, and the people are staying with the story and encouraging others to get with it, because the ad spend is not great. We have done no promotions for that one. And advertising is one thing. Promotions are where you buy space in a newsletter, or you drop it and then start flooding Facebook with ads on, hey, 99 cents this week only. So we've done no promotions on this series, and it continues to climb. And so I have no intention of doing promotions until we start to taper off, and then we'll drop book one back to 99 cents and throw it out to Robin Reed's and Book Barbarian and all those different sites, and cast thy bread upon the water and see what it brings.
Absolutely. So once again, just a reminder, if you'd like the details for whether it's AMS ads or Facebook ads or anything like that, we have a lot of video from the 20 Books Vegas events, 20 Book London event. Mark Dawson has spoken before. You know, avail yourself of that content that'll go into more detail for you.
You bet. And there's some good comments on the thread that I'm seeing roll through on additional tips and hints and tricks, but tricks in a good way. I mean, we've been accused of being unethical when we are the opposite. We are overly ethical. So here are the right way to do things. But targeting, look at who's buying your books. Look at who's buying their books. Use KDP Rocket, which is a good tool.
Yasiv Yasiv, which is a website, YASIV. But also, you know, right now Amazon's messing with the also bots again, and some people are seeing that it's happening. Some people are not seeing that it's happening. Thank you very much for putting that down there. But you know, Yasiv is a great way to figure out who are also bots, if you will, of also other authors that you need to focus on besides just your own. KDP Rocket, I think they're having some issues right now. At least that's what I seem to suggest.
Well, once they get 2.0 out, it will deal with, because Amazon is changing how their system works. So scraping data has become more of a challenge. So
okay. All right. Yeah, I did have a scraper one time. In order to create the also bot list, I would go down 3. So let's say that I would say I want the also bots for Michael Anderle. It would look at the 16 names, and then it would actually go to each of those 16 names and find the 16 names of each of those 16 names, and then did it one more time, and then dedupe everything and give you a list of who those authors were. And Amazon broke it. Well, I say they didn't break it. They changed and it broke, and I didn't want to work with the individual that had built it. So I let that die a couple of years ago. But there's a lot of value in that. And so you need those lists at times. If you have an Advantage account with Amazon, you can actually do it to where Amazon will target. And then whenever it has enough time, you can go actually see who did Amazon target. And you can get a list of it from it that way. So just another little hit.
And will this video be available for replay? Absolutely. Pull it up on the videos on the group, or later it'll be on YouTube. Thanks to Elaine Bateman and Ann Lown. They convert it for me because I don't do that. So thanks to them. Thanks to my fellow.
If you're in Texas, try Big Red. It's delicious. Obviously,
Michael Anderle drinks Big Red.
That's right. That's the title of it.
Craig drinks coffee out of a. Make sure we get
20 Books 250K. Yes, I see it. Would you stop that? That hurts.
Yeah, it's sucking for me too. All right, man. Everybody have a great day. I hope you're doing well.
Take care, guys.
Write some great words. Bye-bye.